What's up, YouTube? George's Silver Hunter back with what I hope to be a new series of videos. This one's going to be called So You Want to Be a Coin Roll Hunter. This is about getting boxes of coins from the bank. Now, I've been lurking on Facebook forums and reading comments on YouTube and seeing questions on live streams from a lot of people who are new to coin roll hunting or really just don't know much about it. And one of the common questions is, how do you go about getting these boxes? Or the question is, hey, I've gone to my bank and they won't order a certain denomination of coin for me. So how are you guys getting these boxes? So I wanted to spend some time in this video explaining how I get boxes and things you might try with your bank to get them. So we're going to start off with the really simple answer, and that is just ask. A lot of times banks have these coins in their vaults and, they'll sell them to you if they have them. Some banks may push back and ask if you have a business account and just be honest with them and tell them, no, you don't. But you're a coin collector or you like to sort through them or what have you. Give them a reason to want to help you out. That often has helped for me. So if you happen to, have a branch where they just aren't willing to help you, it doesn't matter what you ask for, pennies, dimes, nickels, quarters, halves, it doesn't really matter. They're just absolutely not going to order you coins. Now it's time to try a different branch. Now, I live in the metro Atlanta area. We have a bank on every other street corner. In 5 minutes in any direction, I can make it to a different Wells Fargo branch. And some of them, I'll be honest, won't give me coins. So I don't go to those branches. I have found a few that will give me coins, and those are the ones I focus on. So just try going to a different branch. The third thing you can do is try a different bank. Now, most banks require you to have an account or be a member of that bank. So you might need to do a little bit of scouting around, look online, drive to different branches. A lot of banks today have a free checking account. Make sure they have a free checking account. No balances, no setup fees. That's really what you're looking for. Because the last thing you want to do is go have to put $500 in a checking account or $1,000 in a checking account to bypass potential fees from the bank. So for me, Fifth Third Bank, which I realize isn't everywhere, when I signed up for their account, they actually had a code where if you deposited $500 and you left it in for 30 days, they actually gave you a $250 sort of referral fee or thank you fee for opening an account there. And the account itself was free from that point forward. You did not have to keep your $500 in there. So for me, Fifth Third ended up being a fantastic bank, and that deal you could find just by going to the Fifth Third website. So try a different bank. Now, something else about trying a different bank is some banks, if you're going to trade them cash for that box of coins, some banks may not require you to have an account. So it's always worth just going into a bank that normally you're not a member of and just asking, say, hey, I've got like $500 cash or $100 cash or whatever you have, and I'm looking to buy some pennies or nickels or dimes or what have you, and see if they'll trade you. Some banks will. Most of the banks I've gone to will not. They require you to be a member. So that is the third thing you can do, is try out a different bank. So the fourth thing is, if you're getting no from everybody, there's some things you need to do to reassure them that you're not going to be a pain in their butt. And you may have seen these on other videos, and I can share my experience with you. Let the bank know that by them giving you this box of coins, you promise you will not return those coins back to that bank, because a lot of banks require you to re-roll the coins, and you don't. A lot of times you don't know this either. Those bank tellers end up having to take your rolls and then re-empty them into bank bags to give to Brinks or Loomis or whoever they get their coinage from. So it costs them on the way in, and it costs them on the way out. So that's why a lot of banks don't want to do it. They don't want to create more work for themselves than they already have. So promise them, look, if you let me buy that box of nickels or that box of quarters or whatever it is you want, I promise you, I will not bring this change back to you, and you need to stick to your guns. Do not ever bring that money back to that branch, unless they're okay with it. I happen to have a branch. They're okay with me buying and returning coins there, but I try not to abuse it. I really only use them as a last resort. So that brings me to the point of having banks you buy from and banks you return to. And that goes back to my third bullet point, which was use different banks. Go sign up for that free account somewhere and maybe use one bank as a buy bank and one bank as a return bank. And then you never have to worry about being a burden on either bank, right? You're giving business to one by taking coins and you're giving business to the other one by returning them. So I think that's something you can focus on doing, because if you abuse a bank by taking their coins and giving them back and creating a lot of work for them, they are not going to want to be nice to you because you're creating way too much of a headache for them. So outside of that, I would say one other thing you can try, if you've tried all of those things and you still can't find a bank to give you, say, $50 because you want to hunt for silver and you've heard this is the best place to get silver, which by the way, it is if you're hunting silver. By far, from a weight perspective, from a fines perspective, you're going to find more silver in a $500 box of halves on average than you will, say, in a box of dimes or in a box of nickels or a box of quarters. I've done a bunch of quarter boxes and I've never found silver in a quarter box. I've done nickels and probably 1 out of 3 boxes I find just a little bit of silver. So halves are definitely the way to go. So let's say you want halves and you can't get them. You've tried multiple branches, multiple banks, and no one will order them for you. Again, a lot of times it's because they don't want to go to the expense because they don't know you very well and they're afraid you're going to cost them on the way in and the way out. So what I recommend is start with something smaller. Start with nickels or start with a box of pennies. A box of pennies is only $25, right? And most banks have a spare box of pennies. So order that box of pennies. Make sure you're there on the day it's delivered or the day after to pick it up because they don't want to order a bunch of coins you never pick up. Show them that you're going to be Johnny on the spot, pick up those coins, and never, ever return them. Go back 3 days later, a week later, 2 weeks later, and say, thank you for those pennies. I found what I was looking for. I found wheat pennies. Let them know whatever you're doing with those pennies. Can I get another box, right? Get another box of pennies and show them, okay, now I'm a customer that's going to come in. I'm going to do the right things. I'm going to treat you with respect. I may even let you in a little bit on what I'm doing with all these coins. Can you get me another? And you know what? Do that 2, 3, weeks in a row, maybe a month or 2 in a row. And you say, you know what? These pennies have been fun, but, I'd really like to move up and try some nickels or some dimes. And I know I'm pointing at the dime box when I say pennies. I just don't have a penny box. I'd love to try something else. And odds are that bank will now be willing to work with you because you've said, you know what? I can show that I'm a good customer with the pennies. Let me branch out a little bit and do nickels. Right? So that is something that has worked for me. I have actually had banks that the first time I went in, absolutely not going to order coins for you. And after they've seen me enough and they know what I'm doing, they're like, you know what? Sure, we're placing an order this week. We'll order you a box of halves or a box of quarters or, you know what, a box of each. So those are things that I have tried and I've been very successful with. Now, the other thing you can do, and these are just empty boxes, just so you know, and I did this just today. I walked into a random Wells Fargo with cash in hand and said, do you have any coins in the vault? I'd like to buy a couple of boxes. And they said, what would you like? And I said, I'm looking for really anything, nickels, dimes, quarters, or halves. And they went, looked in the vault, and they said, we have nickels and quarters. So I said, can I get a box of each? I gave them $600 cash, and I walked out with a box of quarters and a box of nickels. And the reality is, had they said, no, we don't have anything, I just would have walked out and gone to a different branch. So now, for my weekend, I have some quarters to hunt, and I have some nickels to hunt, and I'm looking forward to it. You know what? I'm going to jump into these rolls, and I'm going to make another video about coin roll hunting these quarters and these nickels. It'll probably be 2 separate videos. So on that note, you should go ahead and subscribe now. Take a minute. I'll wait for you. Go down, hit that subscribe button. Let me know you like the content, and hit that bell and select all. So when I post this video on doing quarters and that video on doing nickels, you'll get notified and you can come back and find out what specifically was in these 2 boxes. Could be interesting. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have questions, if I didn't answer something you have, in the back of your mind as a new coin roll hunter about getting coins or how to talk to the bank, let me know down in the comments. I'm happy to share my experiences with you. Catch me on the next live stream. I'm happy to answer questions during my live streams, which I don't do regularly, but I do them. Always happy to help, especially the new and aspiring coin roll hunters out there. So I hope you take care. Good luck on your coin roll hunts. Good luck talking to those banks. And I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video.